6
Ladies and gentlemen, the action continues here at Mohegan Sun Arena, the Slugfest at the Sun. Our next bout is scheduled for 6 rounds in the junior welterweight division. It's brought to you by Joe DeGuardia's Star Boxing. The judges for this bout, Tom Carasone, Peter Harry Jr., and Don Ackerman. Controlling the action at the sound of the bell, the referee in charge is Michael Ortega. Introducing first, boxing out of the blue corner. He weighed in at 137.8 pounds. With a professional record of 12-3-2 for victories, coming by way of knockout. Wearing black with silver and the red, white, and blue of the USA and Puerto Rico. Hailing from Comerio, Puerto Rico, now Holyoke, Massachusetts, the former New England Junior Lightweight title holder. Please welcome Joseph "Chip" Perez. His opponent across the ring fights out of the red corner this evening. He also weighed in at 137.8 pounds. He owns a professional record of 11-2, 8 impressive victories coming by way of knockout. Wearing red trimmed with white and silver from the island of Jamaica. Raised in London, England, now living, training, and fighting out of Brooklyn, New York, Scott Bang Bang Burrell.
Okay, gentlemen, we went over the rules. Give me a good, clean fight. Protect yourself at all times. And my commands at all times. Good luck to both of you. Touch them up.
Well, it's Slugfest at the Sun, and that's exactly what this one might be. Joseph Perez in the red, white, and blue trunks. Scotty Burrell, Bang Bang Burrell, in the red trunks with the white frill. Scott Burrell is a twin brother. Now, Scott Burrell has a record of 11-2. His brother, Dean Burrell, is 10-1. These guys are identical twins.
Identical in weight? They would fight in the same weight class?
And for all I know, this could be Dean Burrell in the ring. They look identical. You're going to see Scotty Burrell uses a lot of left jabs, a lot of combinations, fast hands, but he's in against a guy who's not slow at all, Joseph Perez. And you're going to see a lot of, I think both guys are going to become real counter punchers tonight. They're going to let one guy throw, and then they're going to jump in with their own shot.
This is a nicely, I think it's a nice even matched fight. You know, guys have similar records. Perez is 12-3 and Scott Burrell is 11-2, and both of them had a couple wins in their past fights. Burrell's actually coming off 4 wins, and the last 2 were TKOs.
Scotty Burrell began his professional career in 2010, and he racked up 3 quick victories before he was absolutely shocked in a 3rd round TKO against 3-6-2 Brian Abraham. Queens, New York. And to me, that's still a surprise how that happened. They tried to get Abraham back in the ring, but he never wanted the rematch. So that was the first loss of Burrell's career. His next loss came when, in 2013, he lost a split decision to another guy with a losing record. The guy was 6-11-1, James Hope, and that one came in Charlotte, North Carolina. So 2 shocking losses to Burrell. Those are his 2 losses against guys with losing records. And Joseph Perez, he began his professional career back in 2009, and he ripped off his first 5 fights with victories, 2 of them by knockouts. And then he ran into a little bit of trouble. He was disqualified, kind of rough stuff, up here in Connecticut on a third-round disqualification. He won a few more, then he lost 2 in a row, then he had a couple of draws, and now in his last 2, he's had wins. This is an excellent matchup. And this has been a feeling out. Take a look at my jab. I'll show you my jab. You show me yours. And now it's starting to heat up at the end of round number 1. This is a junior welterweight bout.
Yeah, Burrell is definitely taking more of the role of the, the counterpuncher mover. Perez is a little bit more aggressive. At least in the first round, he was.
That was just a tough round because both guys played much more on defense than they did on offense. They threw these, what I call, especially Burrell, a safety first punch. You kind of jump in, and you're pulling the punch back before it even gets there. So you make sure that you're out of the way. And I thought I saw Burrell doing a lot more safety first stuff. I saw Perez taking the fight to him. I gave that first round 10-9 to Perez.
Okay.
And we're looking into the corner of Perez now. Looks calm, cool, and collected, not breathing hard at all. Mouthpiece being put back in his mouth. Referee is the veteran Mike Ortega, who, when one of the things he does, he's a businessman when he's not doing his refereeing stuff, which he also is one of the best in the world. He is a world-class masseuse. Every time my wife sees him, she goes, "Hi, Mike, my neck is hurting me." And he goes over and for a few minutes will rub Ronnie's neck. But he's great in everything he does. And as a ref, there are very few. I don't know if there's anybody better. He's in a line with the Jack Reeses and guys like that, the Tony Weeks, the Kenny Ballases of Nevada.
Nice body shot.
Nice body work, up and down.
What a difference in style. I mean, Burrell's like, he's jabbing the first round, landing at will, and all of a sudden, he's getting hit to the body by these very, very hard blows.
Burrell back to that jab again. Over the head with a right hand is Burrell. And now Ortega says, watch pushing the head down.
He has a nice long jab, Burrell. If he would just give it a little more commitment, I think that, that would be great. Because he has that, it's straight, it's long, it's precise. He's just not committing to it enough.
See, right now, Burrell again with that safety first kind of punch. Those jabs had something on it. When he steps into his jab, when he has that, when you say commitment, he does very nice. When he starts throwing that defensive stuff, that's when he becomes very vulnerable to counterpunches because his opponent realizes he can walk right through it.
Right. Yeah, you smell fear. You're a fighter. If the guy's nervous, you're going to capitalize on attacking him to the body, which Perez is doing, or which he did a few minutes ago.
About 45 seconds remain. Round number 2. And this one is scheduled for 6 rounds in the junior welterweight division. Nice jab by Scotty Burrell. Perez allowing Burrell to keep his distance a little bit too much. He's got to just close that distance. Because remember, he gives away 3 inches on height and several inches in reach. You don't hit a guy with height, you hit him with reach, but he gives away that reach, and from the outside, he's basically hopeless.
Right, but when he gets inside, he's dangerous. We saw that. Yes, Scotty!
Yes, Scotty! There he moved in, except his hands were down. There was no saving by the bell, and he's going to take the mandatory 8 from Mike Ortega, and now the bell should ring. It does. Perez goes back to his corner, bangs his gloves together because he realizes as close as that round might have been, that knockdown cost him the round by 2 points.
That was a flash knockdown.
Judges usually score 10-8 with a knockdown. Let's take a look,
yeah,
Kara,
I want to see that.
at that action.
you know, he's going to the body here, like we were talking about. He's great when he gets on the inside. He's very powerful. And Burrell hates it when he doesn't like it on the inside at all.
Not at all. And then let's see.
Yeah, that was a knockdown. It was a check hook. I mean,
we've seen that before where the guy throws a shot and it didn't look like the glove portion landed. It looked more like the wrist area landed and caught him a little bit off balance and pushed him down. But when you do get hit and you go down, you get hit, you go down, it's a knockdown.
Right, it's like an equilibrium thing. When you get that check hook to the ear, sometimes it just does something to your eardrum and it causes you to topple over. And I think that's the case. That's what happened here.
This is round 3 action from the Mohegan Sun Resort and Casino in Uncasville, Connecticut. I'm Randy G along with Cara Castronova. Former Golden Glove champion Cara, you ever think about going back in the ring again, a little competition? I saw you working out a few weeks ago at the Westbury Boxing Club on Long Island. You look like you were ready to get back in the ring.
Yeah.
Come on.
I'm watching these fights, I'm jealous. You know, I'm like, I'm out here, they're in there. I wish I was in there, you know.
I saw it. I thought I saw something that day that told me you wanted to get back in the ring. You see like Heather Hardy doing her thing and a few of the others really making noise out there. And Clarissa Shields, I think, going to light up the female world. I think female boxing is really
improved.
Gets spun around there. I'm loving female boxing, and I'm loving what I'm seeing right here because this is a real competitive fight.
It is. I love seeing the fights where the records are pretty even, you know. These are the fights I enjoy watching. And where the styles make fights, you know, they both have such different styles. It's who's going to be better at their style tonight. You know, I think if Perez finds a way inside without getting hit, then it's going to be his fight.
You know, the Burrell brothers, both of them, Scott and Dino, trained very, very hard. But a former manager of theirs, who's still friendly with them, tells me that they're so hard to make matches for. They reject this one, they reject that one. Now, I don't know if that's just the manager talking, but the manager said, I love these kids. I think the world of them. And they have all the talent in the world, and they've got to show it. They've got to step up.
Right.
And they are. Scotty Burrell and his brother Dino are 27 years young.
Similar style? Do they have?
Same thing.
Really?
Joseph Perez in those red, white, and blue Puerto Rican trunks. Joseph Perez, 29 years old, makes his home in East Hartford, Connecticut. Out of Brooklyn.
I like the way that Perez, well, look, you know, right now they're on the inside, but when on the outside presence, he's constantly moving his head. He's not a stationary target, which is great because he is, you know, the shorter fighter. So he's moving his head, making sure that he's not, you know, going to be hit at will, which is, it's a lot to say for fighters. A lot of fighters don't move their heads.
Well, Perez is moving his head now, but he's not moving his hands. Moving your head is not going to win you rounds. Moving your hands will. Because even if you miss the guy, sometimes a judge might think you landed. And in a close round, those shots are going to stay in the mind of the judges. Move your hands.
Especially at the end of the round. At the end of the round is what the judges remember.
Right, exactly. End of round number 3.
He's trying to find his way in. What would you tell him to do? How could he get in there?
Now, which one are we looking at? Before we get into fight strategy here, let's take a look at some of the action from round number 3, Cara.
Nice overhand right by Perez. He has a lot of power when he gets in there. You know, he throws some really nice body work, body hooks, body shots. Burrell doesn't like being on the inside. He prefers to be on the outside, you know, trying to get out of there quick.
There we look into the corner of Perez, Joseph Perez out of East Hartford, Connecticut. They are imploring him, they're telling him, get in close. Don't stand on the outside with this taller, faster fighter.
See, lucky for, I mean, I always feel for the shorter guy, the guy that fights stuff on the inside. It's always up to him to bring the fight. It's so much pressure, like, you know, get on the inside, get on the inside. Getting on the inside also means you're going to get hit coming in sometimes. So it's a lot of pressure.
No, he's not listening there because Perez is fighting on the outside and getting inside with one shot, trying to land that one shot. That's not going to get him on the inside. There he ate one jab, blocked another.
I mean, that jab of Burrell's it's a good jab. I mean, it's a long jab, it's a stiff jab. You know, I think it's harder to get in than than a lot of people might realize.
Burrell seems to be growing in confidence. The more Perez stays on the outside, the more I see that confidence, that confident look in the eyes of Scott Burrell. Burrell doing a good job. Just that jab on the outside is keeping Perez at bay.
Just needs to follow up that straight right hand down the middle, you know. I think that would start changing the pace of the fight.
That's where Perez wants to hold his ground, get on the inside and rip those body shots, turn them upstairs. Body head. See, but when he lays on the outside there, he tried to rip a right hand upstairs, but then he pulls back and he gives way too much room away.
Right. He's fighting right at the end of Burrell's jab. It's, you know, a bad place to be.
Too much daylight between them. And referee Mike Ortega gets, you know, again, he's the kind of referee, he lets them work in close. He and the other referee who's got the assignment tonight, Danny Schiavone, both of those guys are excellent world-class refs who allow the fighters to work in close. But once they start grabbing on, you'll see it right now. Grab,
right.
Okay, let them go. Break it up, take a step back. If they were working on the inside, hands-free, punching, see again, they're gonna grab, in comes Mike Ortega. And you got to stay between the fighters. You can't break the fighters up and get behind them. You got to try to stay in that space that I was talking about. It's called the open door. If you happen to watch the ref who's out of camera range right now, there he is in that open door. Perfect.
Right.
That's the open door. That's where a referee wants to be. And as the fighters turn, the referee stays in that open door. The long, that reach advantage of Scotty Burrell, he's using it more and more.
Right.
Hand speed, gets in, gets out, flicks that jab, and even when it doesn't land, Perez is not putting the pressure on.
He's trying to get in, and he's just not doing it. He's just not able to. He's frustrated right now.
Very. Well, I don't have Perez winning any rounds in this fight. He is making it a very competitive fight, but he's not winning the fight.
Right.
He's laying on the outside. He's making Scotty Burrell earn his money tonight. And Scotty Burrell is listening to everything they're saying. And right there, Joseph Perez, they're going to really have to start basically smacking him upside the head, too.
Right. I mean, I'm not saying he's a one-dimensional fighter. I haven't seen enough of him to say that. But tonight, you know, he's trying to get in. It's not working. There has to be something his corner could tell him to do that will actually get him on the inside. I haven't seen him trying to bob and weave in. I mean, he's kind of like moving in such a way where he's always at the end of a punch. I think maybe working in from the side, from an angle, coming in, bobbing and weaving, something like that. Just change it up, because what he's doing, it's not working.
Here we are, round number 5, scheduled for 6, junior welterweights. The man in red, Scotty Burrell, commandingly on my scorecard in the lead against, making it competitive, Joseph Perez, 12-3-2. One of those 3 losses on his record came against the world champion, Jason Sosa. About 3 years ago, Jason Sosa has stopped him in the 4th round. But since that time, Jason Sosa has just absolutely exploded onto the world scene, a world champion now. We congratulate Russell Peltz for his world champion. And now Perez trying to get in close, making a rumble of it. He says, look, I'm not holding on. They told him in the corner, you gotta do what you're doing right now, and he's listening. Now he's going back again to doing what he did for the first 4 rounds of the fight. laying on the outside, Kara.
Yeah, you got to be in great shape to keep coming at a guy like that, Randy. I mean, like, I don't know what his shape is like, what his condition is like, but that's like, it's always the hardest thing to do is like get in on a guy that has a long reach. You have to be in such great condition, and you know you're a conditioning coach.
You gotta get a lot of sparring rounds in. Then you gotta do other work in the gym. You gotta get outside. You gotta run those wind sprints. You gotta do everything you can possibly think of. I believe in all the stuff that the MMA guys do, the tire flips,
Right.
and taking the sledgehammers and banging on tires for an hour. I
Right.
believe in all that. It strengthens you. It gives you conditioning. And right now it looks like Joseph Perez, I don't know what is going through his mind, but he is not going to outbox Scotty Burrell. He's backing up even. Then he comes in a little bit, then starts thinking about that jab. That's where he's going to do his best work inside. But once he gets it close, he can't sustain it. Nice double jab there. That is a power jab. It's what I call a shotgun jab when Burrell throws it like
Right,
that.
now he's more confident now. He's throwing it with, like, gumption or with conviction. He knows it's landing. He's throwing it hard. It's working for him. He's following up with right hands, left hooks.
Nice right body dig by Burrell. That was his best body shot of the fight. Burrell goes downstairs with the jab. Just makes Perez think where those shots are coming.
If I was Perez, I'd try to bait him in at this point. Like, he's not getting in on his own. I'd lean on a rope or something, and just try to get him to come in. And I don't know. I mean, there has to be a way he can get him in. Just, lean on a rope, have him come in, and then fight off the ropes or something, because he's not getting in tonight if he keeps doing what he's doing right now.
Perez puts on the pressure at the bell. Scotty Burrell gets away from it. End of round 5. So there are 3 minutes left for Perez to try to do his thing. And so far, whatever that thing is, hasn't been working because Scotty Burrell has been out boxing him. So that man, Joseph Perez, is going to have to really make a street fight out of it. Action from the last round, Kara.
Throwing that overhand right. He knows he has to knock him out. He knows he's desperate to get in. Throwing those power shots to the body. Burrell covering up.
Ladies and gentlemen,
not really getting hit much when he covers up.
Final round, round number 6 in this one, coming up right now.
There we look into Joseph Perez's corner. This is it.
Let's go, Scotty!
What could they have told him in that corner?
There has to be a plan B. As you know, you're a trainer. Like, you have to have a plan B to resort to if what you're doing for the beginning isn't working. How do you have scored, Randy? Who do you think's winning?
I have given every round to Scotty Burrell. Some of them have been more competitive and close than others,
Right.
but I've given every round to Scotty Burrell.
I gave every round except the first. I think Perez, he had a strong first round because Scotty Burrell, he was tentative.
Headbutt.
When he came out at first, Burrell was tentative, so the first round it wasn't. I don't feel like he sealed it. I think Perez won the first round, but the rest of the rounds I do give to Burrell.
Perez was coming in a moment ago and he butted Scotty Burrell. I think Scotty might have taken it around the center of his forehead, and he hurt. But he stepped back and he said, I can't let this get to me. You got to put it out of your, head where you just got butted. Love that jab of Scotty Burrell. This is the best I've seen that jab of his look. Look at those combinations. I mean, they're not landing with authority, but they are landing and they are keeping Joseph Perez at bay. Now Perez has got to throw. This is where he's got to throw. He didn't. He backed up.
I think he's tired at this point. And Burrell, he's doing a nice job of covering up on the inside at this point. I don't think that Perez has much left on his punches.
Nice double left hand. One to the head, one to the body. Mike Ortega tells him to pick the shots up. One looked like it might have been a little bit low, but Scotty Burrell is fighting with confidence.
Right, he's throwing some nice combinations now. Once he gets confident, he's a nice boxer to watch.
Scotty Burrell's got it going on, offensively and defensively. I mean, unless I'm completely off base
No,
here,
you're not.
Scotty Burrell is going to win this one either by a shutout or just about every single round. He's out-slugging him. He's out-boxing him. That's where Perez wants to be. If he's going to win the fight, it's going to be on the inside.
He's just tired now. I mean, he took a lot of shots. He did.
45 seconds remain in the fight.
Those jabs, they start, I mean, it's a jab. It's not a power punch, but they start to add up. It's like, you know, water dripping, dripping, dripping. Eventually, it's going to make a hole. Those jabs, they add up. They frustrate you. And, you know, it takes a lot out of a guy to get hit with jab after jab after jab.
Scotty Burrell out of Brooklyn, about 20 seconds away from winning his 12th professional fight, at least on my scorecard anyway. And boy, oh boy, if Perez rather, should win this fight, they got to have an immediate rematch. But I don't see it.
No, he's not going to win this fight.
5 seconds remain in the fight. Burrell knows it.
Yeah, he does.
A little showmanship. Come on, Scotty. I don't like when guys do that. He did know that this fight belonged to him, and he knew that there was going to be no knockout, and he started playing around a little bit.
I've been wanting to ask the question the whole fight because, you know, I'm always curious with the weigh-in, like that hair, his hair weighs a lot. I remember when I had long hair, I would make them hold, I felt like it was unfair because, you know, every ounce counts. If you weigh in a half a pound over, they make you jump it off. His hair has to weigh a good 3, 4, 5 pounds. I wonder if they take that into account. Seriously. What do you think? Really?
I don't
it weighs
think so.
a lot. Like every ounce counts when you're weighing in.
Are you looking at that face of Perez? I mean, Joseph Perez looks like an exhausted, beaten fighter.
Yeah.
That face right there, that is the face of defeat.
No, he's disappointed.
You know, he knows he didn't do what he had to do. You know, they cut the gloves of Scotty Burrell off.
You're right. You would never know which guy was fighting. One guy's not feeling good. You know, the other guy, he could send in his replacement. They look just.
And they're unwrapping those gloves. Let's see if when they pull those gloves off, it irks me. A lot of times when I was commissioner, if I see the guys doing it, they yank the glove off the sweaty hands, and they're doing it with him too. I have seen more fighters than you would believe have their shoulders and elbows pulled out of the socket when the guys are yanking on them like that. I hate that. And I'm going to say something. I mean, I know the guys and everything. I'm going to say something. Guys, don't do it.
Yeah.
And now they're trying to do it. They were just cutting his tape. It just drives me crazy.
His arms are his weapons. That's what he makes his money with. You got to, you know, protect them.
I mean, these guys all do such a great job in wrapping the hands and everything like that.
Well, they figure the fight's over. You know, let's rip the gloves off, you know.
Get those gloves off. Open them up. Cut the laces if you have to. Open the gloves, and then they'll slide off. You don't have to keep them tight and then yank the guy's arm out of his socket. Well, luckily it didn't happen tonight. Both fighters are waiting for the decision. And we have it. Let's see who won.
Ladies and gentlemen, here at the Mohegan Sun Arena, after 6 hard-hitting rounds, we go to the judges' scorecard for the decision. Judge Peter Harry Jr. saw the bout 59-54. Judges Tom Carasone and Don Ackerman saw the bout 60-53. All in favor of your winner by unanimous decision. From Brooklyn, New York, Scott Bang Bang Burrell.
No surprise there. I had it 60-53. That's exactly how 2 of the judges had it. One of those judges, Don Ackerman from New York, who happens to be the president of the International Boxing Hall of Fame, one of the best fight judges in the world, and he certainly gets the work that he deserves. And a very happy Scott Burrell poses with his team right now as he virtually pitched a shutout. One of the judges had it a 59, gave Perez 1 round. I did not give Perez any rounds, and Scott Burrell has a lot of fans here tonight. Saying hello to them. Cara Castronova stands by with a happy Scott Burrell.
Congratulations on your 13th professional victory. Did you expect that the scorecards would be so much in your favor?
Most definitely. You know, I felt I won every round. I felt I dominated the fight. So, you know, I think the scorecards were accurate.
I noticed that you like to throw the jab a lot. Do you think that your jab is really what determined the outcome of the fight?
Most definitely. You know, I just said to myself coming into the fight, this is basic science. He's a lot shorter than me. I've got longer arms than him. I just got to keep the distance. And the best way to keep the distance with the jab. So I just keep the jab in his face and make my night easy. And that's what happened then.
So you stuck to the game plan?
Most definitely. We worked on that for, 4 hard weeks in the gym. That's when we found out about this fight. And I just said to myself, just come out and use the jab. And, I'll stick to the game plan. It was easy work.
Well, congratulations, and I look forward to seeing you and your brother on your next fight.
Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Thank you.
Back to you, Randy.
Nice job, Cara. Well, it was Scotty Burrell, a little tentative in that first round. But then in rounds 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, you saw Scotty Burrell. That was the best moment that Perez actually had in the fight. And then after that, it was all Scotty Burrell using that left jab like a surgeon, that left hook, knocking Perez down, winning it by 60-53 scores twice. And one other, he won 5 of the rounds. Scotty Burrell, the winner.